place. They go, this is somebody, this is a guy, this is a gal that I want to engage with. So your visibility is more important than your ability. So you've got to start looking at how can you raise your visibility. So what I want to show you, I want to walk you through what I call the integrated marketing program. This is a concept that we've been teaching for a couple of years to our clients. I want to share it with you. See, at the center is the person that you're trying to reach. That's your target audience. It's the person that you want to get your message out in front of. The homeowner, the home buyer, whatever it is, they're in the center. And these people are bombarded with advertising messages. Online, offline, they're seen everywhere, right? They're all over the place. But what you want to be is you want to be the agent that every time they turn around, online or offline, who do they see? You. They see your messaging. They see your brand. They see what you're doing, and they start to see this person is visible. They're everywhere I turn around. So think about all the different ways that you can engage with and be in front of somebody throughout the course of a day. What is the first thing most people do when they wake up? What do they check? Facebook, or their phone, or their email, or their text messages. They check something, right? So they grab their phone oftentimes while they're still laying in bed. I'm like, okay, let's see, what do I got going on here? And they start checking their email, or they start checking their text messages, or they log on to Facebook, or Instagram, or Snapchat. And again, some of you are like, Snapchat, what is with the Snapchat? That's what, kids used to send sext messages to each other. Like, what, am I supposed to sext with my clients? Right, so, no. Some of you it might help. I'm just going to throw that out there. It is Vegas, and you might get some business off of it because some of you are good-looking people. So anyway, so they check in on something and they go, I want to see what's going on. What if they saw your ad? What if they saw a message for you? What if they saw you engaging with them? What if they then went to their inbox, their email inbox, and they saw an email from you? What if they went to their text message? They saw a text message from you. They opened up their phone messages. They saw a phone message. Now, I'm not saying every single day, by the way, but what if you were everywhere that they turned around? They go to their mailbox. There you are. Everywhere they go, there you are. And your messaging, if they go on to Zillow, who do they see? They see you. If they go on to Realtor.com, who do they see? They see you. They see your reviews. They see your ads. They see your messaging. They see your marketing, because you're the one that's getting in front of them with that messaging over and over and over again. Your marketing plan is a 360 marketing plan. Everywhere they turn, there you are. Do you think that would make a difference in how fast you start to grow your business? Yes or no? Absolutely. So this is what you want to start looking at. Now here's what an example might look like. This is just a sample. And by the way, you're going to get the slides, so I don't think you'll actually be able to take a clear picture of that. So I'm going to give you a way to get the slides in just a little bit. So this is what it might look like. At the top, you might have Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and you're trying to get them to maybe pick up the phone and call. And then maybe if they call you, you try text messaging them back. And then maybe you try and get them onto your email list. And then that email list is going to send them to a CMA website. And that CMA website might send them to your social or to a video or something else. And all of a sudden, everywhere they go, there you are. Now this can get expensive, can't it? Absolutely. Do you have to do all of these things? Absolutely not. This is just an example. You may start with 3 bubbles and then start to build up to more and more bubbles so that you're trying to be in every place you can as time goes on. You build up to this. You don't start from here. You don't start from scratch at this. It's something you're going to build towards. So I'm actually going to give you a blank diagram like this that you can kind of fill in. What am I currently doing? What do I need to be better at? And how do I start adding more things into that diagram so that more places they go, there I am, and there's my messaging, and there's my brand, and my face, and my whatever it is, calling them to engage with me. I'm just trying to convince them to start to engage with me. Now, once they do that, we need to ask ourselves this. Is your brand, your story, your offer, and your experience compelling? Is your brand, your story, your offer, your experience compelling? Because this is ultimately what's going to convince them that they should engage with you. Because if your brand, if your messaging, if your story, if your experience isn't compelling, you can be visible and they're going to go, nope. You've still got to have that second part of it. You need to have a message and a story and a brand that's interesting, that's compelling, that makes them want to do business with you. And then the question I want to leave you with from this section is, do you have a plan to increase your visibility? How are you going to increase your visibility in your market in such a way that convinces people to engage with you? Step 2 is this. Once you've convinced them to begin to engage with your brand, you've got to be able to capture that person's information. You've got to be able to capture them and turn them into a lead, a person that you're now going to be engaging with and starting to build a relationship with, but you've got to have a way of capturing their information. Nobody is going to walk up to you randomly and go, here's all my information, call me. Wouldn't that be great if they did? Like, here's my cell phone number, here's my email address, here's my home address, here's my first name, my last name, here's my spouse's name, here's my kid's name, my dog's name, all my information that you need to actually market to me and engage with me. Nobody does that. See, we protect our personal information, don't we? How many times do you go to a website and they want you to fill something out? A lot. And do you start to find yourself holding back and going, well, is it worth giving you my private information in exchange for what you're offering? Is this compelling or interesting enough to give me what you want? So what you've got to have is you've got to answer this question: why should people give you their information? What are you going to give them in exchange for their valuable private information that's going to allow you to begin to engage with them and market to them and start to build a relationship with them? What are you going to provide them that's worth it? See, you've got to have a compelling offer plus a compelling website. You've got to drive them to something that you control, that you're going to give them something compelling in exchange for that person's information. What do you have? Do you have a compelling offer and a compelling website? And what do you do that most others are not? And this, ooh, I thought I was falling off the stage there for a second. That'd have been bad. It's like a squishy spot in the stage there that made it like, okay, anyway, I'm good. Safe. So what can you provide them that other agents in your marketplace are not? See, everybody right now is providing the same thing, market evaluations. And I'm not opposed to market evaluations. Look, we've been teaching send market evaluations using Facebook for like 3 or 4 years. So I'm not opposed to it. We still have clients that do it, but everybody's doing it now, aren't they? And it's becoming harder and harder and harder to cut through that noise. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to say, well, what else could we be providing that's valuable that nobody else is offering in your marketplace? What can we do to level up what we're providing to your clients and to the people that you're trying to serve? So what we kind of created and what we came up with is what we call power sellers reports and power buyers reports. Now, I'm going to show you what's in a power sellers report, what's in a power buyers report. Now, in a power sellers report, you might have a Zillow's estimate. Now, that's if you're here in the States. We have Zillow's estimates here in the States. And how many of you can't stand Zillow's estimates? Right? So you're like, why would I put the Zestimate in my report? Because they're going to go in and look at it anyway, aren't they? So you may as well just be upfront about it and go, hey, here's your Zestimate, here's what it says, but here's my analysis of the value of your home. And here's where the difference comes in. Here's why my analysis is different than Zillow's Zestimate. Here's why I provide value. Here's what I'm providing you. Here's the explanation of why it's different. That's important, isn't it? Because that's showing you why you're not a computer and why you're better than a computer. Because people are questioning what the true value of an agent is. This begins to show them, doesn't it? Here's what this estimate says. Here's what I believe. Here's why the difference, and here's what that means. Then what you want to do is you want to say, by the way, here's what you currently pay for in rent. Here's what, with your mortgage. Here's your equity that you've built up. Here's what your move up, move down, move sideways purchase power is. This is what you could potentially buy with what you have in equity and where you're going to the market, what the interest rates are at, all this information. Here's everything that you need. This is a home, and by the way, not just here's what your purchase power, here's a list of homes that you could purchase if your goal is to move up or move down or move sideways. Do you think that's starting to provide a lot of value that nobody else is providing in your market? Absolutely. And then you can also provide a list of additional automation estimates. There's a lot of sites, a lot of services out there that provide automated estimates. So what if you were to just compile them all together and say, here's what they all say, here's what I say, here's why there's a difference, here's what this means if you're selling or you're moving up, down, sideways, here's areas that you can move into, here's a list of homes that you could go see. Which ones do you want to go see? Do you think that that's more valuable than anything other agents in your market are providing, yes or no? Absolutely. Now, what is a power seller or power buyer's report? How many of you know a renter? Some of you aren't sure. That makes me nervous. Like, I don't know. So everybody in this room knows a renter, right? So what if you were to reach out to every renter you knew and say, hey, I'm in the process, a lot of my friends are renting right now and they're interested in buying and they want to know how what they're currently paying for in rent can translate into purchase power. So I knew you're renting right now and I thought I'd reach out to you, Joe, and see, is this something you would find valuable? Would you like me to put together a power buyer's report that shows you how what you're paying for in rent can translate into purchase power in today's market? Yes or no? Yeah, that'd be great, Travis. Please send it over. Awesome. Let me get some information from you. So now what I'm going to show them is how what they're currently paying for in rent can translate into purchase power. I'm going to show them homes they could buy for the same amount they're currently paying for in rent. I'm going to show them the difference between renting versus building up equity with the amount that they're actually paying. I'm going to run real numbers, not theoretical numbers. I'm going to say, okay, so your rent is $1,800 a month. Great. Let me show you, if you were to take $1,800 a month and for the next 10 years keep renting or buy a house, here's what you're going to have at the end. Here's what you're not going to have at the end over here if you're renting. Which do you want to do? And you can now work with a lender to provide loan information, and that lender can start to share the cost and the burden of generating those leads and in providing the marketing that's going to reach out to them so that they can buy into that cost so your expenses drop on this marketing. Do you think this would be valuable to people that you know that are renting? Absolutely. See, everybody's providing home evaluations, and I'm not opposed to home evaluations. I think they're a great lead-in, and I think you should do that as well. But this starts to raise the bar and change the game on the value that you're providing to the people that you're trying to serve. That's what we want to do. How are you going to convince them to give you their information? How are you going to capture that information? What are you going to provide them in exchange for that personal information? This is an example of something that nobody else in your market very likely is providing, and that you can now take back and start to implement on. Now, I want to make this really easy for you. So I want to give you something, what we call our 2016 Success Kit. I'm going to give you a way to do that, but what it is the integrated marketing plan diagrams. I'm going to give you the text, this keyword, R4 2016, to the number you see on the screen. Now, here's what I want to say. Follow the instructions exactly like I tell you, like the system says. Don't get creative, don't get crazy, don't deviate from it because it's a computer, it's or a meeting. What you're trying to get is the opportunity to show your value, to engage with them, to get the listing appointment or the buyer appointment, to get the opportunity to meet with them, opportunity to engage with them. But if you think your goal of cultivating is to close, that's what we've got to figure out how to do. So let's take a look at this. This is for some of you, you're gonna recognize this, and I'm putting it up on the screen because most of you hate this. And I think it's important to see this. This is our 2-week follow-up plan. This is what the top agents in our program do. But most people look at line number 1 and they go, wait, when a lead comes in, I'm supposed to make 2 calls a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks straight. That's what they say. They're like, I'm not going to do that. If I'm going to make 2 calls a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks straight, I'm going to piss them off and they're not going to call me back. That's what they say. And I would say, newsflash. If they're already not calling you back, you may as well try pissing them off till they do.
Yeah.
And I'm only part kidding on that. Because at the end of the day, you want to engage with them, you want to be in front of them, you want to provide value, and it's not trying to harass them, it's just trying to get them to engage with your marketing, your branding, and so that's why we show all of these things up here. Do I have to double tap? I think I have to double tap to go back. So that's why we say 2 calls a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks straight, then you're going to send 5 emails minimum in the first 2 weeks and 3 to 5 text messages minimum in the first 2 weeks, assuming you have a phone number. Now, most people get hung up and they go, do I have to keep doing that once I get a hold of them? No, that would be creepy.
No.
You're just trying to get them to engage. You're not like, all right, great talking to you this morning. I'll call you this afternoon, check in, see how your day was. You're not trying to create a new BFF. You're just trying to get them to engage, and then you move them off onto another funnel. But here's what I know. Most of you won't do this. So I said, okay, what can I do to help make this simpler? Because most people look at that and they go, never mind, screw you, Travis, not going to do it. So I don't want to do that. What else you got? Like, move on from the section. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a different plan. I'm going to modify this because if I can show you that what I teach works in a different way, then I can get you to ultimately move up to this when you're ready. And when you have a team, when you've got the systems to support that. So here's what I decided to do. This is the modified 2-week plan. What if day 1, the lead comes in, you make 2 calls. You send 1 text message and 1 email. You do all 3 of those things. Now, if they come in at night, if the lead comes in at night, don't call them twice that night. This is within the first 24 hours. The first day, the lead comes in, you make 2 calls, 1 text message, and 1 email, trying to reach out to them on 3 different mediums. That's it. That's all you do day 1, and you leave a voicemail every single time. But then day 2 through 5, instead of continuing to make 2 calls a day and doing all this other stuff, what if you just did 1 call a day plus 1 text and an email? Or what if you just said, I'm going to make 1 call a day and 1 text, or one email. Just for the next 3 or 4 days. So days 2 through 5, that's what I'm going to do. Just one call a day plus either a text or an email. And I could rotate. Then days 6 through 10, I'm going to send one email a day plus one text. Start there and build up to it over and over and over and over time. Because as you see this work, all of a sudden you're going to add more into it, aren't you? Because you're going to go, gosh, if that works, imagine what would happen if I added this on top of it. So how are you going to cultivate? Now what I wanted to do is give you something that you can actually use right now. And while you're sitting in here, you could actually do what I'm going to put up on the screen if you have your phone and you want to text. See, I love text messaging. I think it's fantastic in getting people to respond with you. So what I wanted to do is give you a text that you can use here while you're here to send out to your sellers, potential sellers, and your potential buyers. So this is to potential sellers. How many of you have sellers that you talked to in the last 6 to 12 months that said, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait till spring to put my house on the market. Raise your hand if you heard that in the last 6 to 12 months. Here's what I want you to send them in a text message. I've had people do this at our live events while I'm on stage. In fact, one of them, he's a remax agent by the name of Craig Pilgrim, did this at our last event, picked up $1.5 million listing off of this text. So here's what he said. And by the way, F name in a bracket is first name. It says, hi, F name, so hi Joe. A few homes just sold in your area and it's likely changed the value of your home. Can I send you an updated estimate of its value? Simple. Very simple. You could also change this to say, can I send you a power sellers report? Well, yeah, I want to know what that is. So you could do that. Very simple. Simple text message that you can use to engage with any lead that said 6 to 12, you know what, I'm going to wait till spring. When should they be talking to you if they want to list their house in spring?
Winter.
Right now. Not in spring, right now is when you should be having that conversation. So this is what you want to do to engage. Now what about buyers? Here's what you could send to any buyers that said, oh, you know what, we're not ready just yet. So you say, hi Joe, a few new homes hit the market I think you'll love. Would you like me to send you the information? Travis Robertson. By the way, put your name at the end. I didn't do it on the other one because it was a little bit longer, and so I just wanted to make sure you could very clearly see the text. But this one, you want to make sure you put your name on the end because likely they don't have your name stored in their phone. They don't have you in there as Realtor Travis. So you want to make sure that you've got your information there that they can engage with, but this is very simple. How many do you think you could send this text message to a bunch of people today while you're sitting here? How many of you are going to do it while you're sitting here? Awesome. So I want you to come up to me after at the booth and tell me how it went, because I know some of you are going to get business off of just sending that text message. Stage 4 is this. Now you're going to close them. So you've convinced them to engage with you, you've captured their information, you've been cultivating. Now they raise their hand. Now's the time you're going to go in to close that business. Now's the time that you're going to go in and get them to become a client of yours. This is your opportunity, because the goal with cultivating is to get the meeting, to get that chance to meet with them, to tell them why you're different. Now's your opportunity. Now we need to do something that is so different than every other agent that they choose you to be the realtor. So what you want to figure out is how will you get them to choose you? What are you going to do that separates you from everybody else in the marketplace, that makes everybody else look like an amateur, you look like a pro, so that they just see such a dynamic difference that they're drawn to you, they're attracted to you, they want to choose you as their realtor. That's what you've got to figure out. Now it sounds easy, but it's actually very challenging, because if I were to ask most of you, and I get to do this all the time, I say, why should somebody choose you over other agents in your market? Usually that's about what the deer in the headlights look. They go, well, I provide great service. I'm like, every agent will say that. What else? Well, I love my clients. Every agent will say that. What else? I have great marketing. Every agent will say that. How? Explain your great marketing. See, your clients, your potential clients will never be better at explaining your value proposition than you are. They will never out-explain your value proposition than you. They're never going to go, here's your value proposition, sit back, I got this. If you can't explain your value proposition, I promise you they can't either, and that is a dangerous place to be. So you've got to figure out, how am I going to get them to choose you? So why should they choose you, and what do you offer that other agents do not offer? That's the key question. See, every agent is going to say, I love my clients. Every agent is going to say, I provide great service. Every agent is going to say, I hold my client's hand. Every agent is going to say, I'm a great negotiator. They're all going to say the same things. So how do you differentiate yourself? What do you do that really truly separates you from everybody else in your marketplace? And I want to show you on a listing, how would this look on an actual listing? If you were to go on a listing, what would this potentially look like? So there are 3 stages to a listing appointment, by the way. And if you want to win more listings, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that. Pre-listing appointment, during the listing appointment, after the listing appointment. 3 stages. If you understand your opportunity in each of these 3 stages, this is where you get an unfair competitive advantage. So what would you do before a listing appointment? What most agents do is they call to confirm the appointment, maybe day of. So they say, great, I'll meet you at your house Friday at 5 p.m. Maybe on Friday they call and say, hey, are we still good for today at Friday, at 5 p.m. at your house? Now, I've met agents who actually won't make that call in the fear that if they make the call, the appointment will be canceled. So they're just going to show up and hope they're still on. Because they don't want to call and go, hey, are we still on for 5? Oh, we're not? Never mind. Good luck. So they're just going to go, screw it. I'm not going to call and confirm this appointment. I'm just going to knock on the door. And if they leave me a voicemail in between now and then, I'm going to pretend I didn't see it. So what if you did something different? What if instead of, you hang up the phone and you say, great, I'll meet you at your house Friday at 5 p.m., 1234 Main Street. Now you send a video email to confirm the appointment. Hey, Joe Mary, really looking forward to meeting you at your house Friday, 5 p.m., 1234 Main Street. Here's what I want you to do. Between now and then, I'm going to be sending you some information. I want you to be on the lookout. Some of it's going to come in email, some of it's going to come in physical mail, but this is just to help you make an informed decision on who you should choose to sell one of your most valuable assets. Whether you choose me or not, I want to make sure you're informed, I want to make sure you're educated, so be on the lookout for that. Then you're going to send a package via certified mail. Why certified mail? They have to sign for it. What's the open rate on certified mail? 100%. Nobody signs for it. It's like, I wonder what that is. Trash. They're like, I wonder what that is. And they rip it open immediately because they want to know what it is. So inside of there, if you're like, what should I put in there? I'm going to give that to you later because we don't have time to go through all of that, but I'll give you a whole list of things that you can put inside of that packet. Then you're going to email a client testimonial video. How many of you have client testimonial videos? The 5 of you are my favorite people in this room. It's an arena. I would have expected more than 5. So if you don't have client testimonial videos, I'm going to show you how to get them when we get to a later section. Then you're going to send them an email. How to prepare for our meeting. Here's some instructions on how to prepare for our meeting. When I show up, here's what you should be prepared with. You know what should be included in that list, by the way? Have an extra set of keys ready for me. Because are you going to walk away with that listing? Absolutely. Then you're going to call or video email to confirm the appointment the day of. Now, right there, are you already doing more than most of the other agents in your marketplace are going to be doing when they go out for that listing appointment? If you're competing against other agents, are you already setting yourself apart from everybody else in your marketplace? Yes or no? Yes. So that's the first stage. Second stage is we don't have time for questions. At the end, Chris, we can do that, all right? You should know better than that, Chris. Jeez. All right, during the appointment. Now, you show up. What are you going to do during the appointment? You're going to show up with a professional, prepared listing presentation. Most people show up and they wing it. Because they go, well, I don't want to sound like a robot. The goal of having a prepared listing presentation is not so you can sound like a robot, it's so you can adjust as needed. Scripts don't make you sound like a robot. Scripts make you sound prepared and capable of adjusting as the game changes on the ground. Do you know how many times I give a presentation before I get on stage? A lot. Why? So that, and by the way, it's never the same twice. But the reason I do that is so that I can adjust, I can change as needed because I'm comfortable doing it. So the whole idea of having scripts, the whole idea of having a prepared listing presentation is so that you can adjust. If the situation changes, you're able to adjust and then move it back on track as needed. You've got to have a professional prepared listing presentation, not that you have to go through it every single time, but so that you know exactly what you say, you know how to guide that conversation to close. Because if you show up winging it, you forget to ask for the sale because you wonder if you've actually navigated all the things that you needed to navigate to get them to the point where they're actually ready to sign on that dotted line. So you got to do that. Now what happens, oh, by the way, another thing you want to do is you want to show what separates you from everybody else. So this is a video. I want you to watch this. This is one of our clients, Ollie Abreu. He's in Ventura, California, and I want you to see this video. This is a video tour that he did, a property tour video. Now, what if you were to show up at a listing presentation and play this video of one of the things you can do that sets you apart from everybody else? actually sitting right over there. So, fantastic video. Now, if you were to show up with something like that, do you think that people might say, wow, this realtor is different than everybody else? Because most people aren't showing up with something like that. What are you doing that is saying, this is why I'm different, this is why you should choose me? Not just, hey, I have a different marketing plan, but let me show you what that actually looks like, what that actually does, how that actually separates what I do from every other realtor in this marketplace. That's how you create differentiation. Now, third stage is this. So after the listing appointment, so you had pre-listing appointment, during the listing appointment. Now what happens after? Right after, you walk out, you grab your video camera. And how many of you use BombBomb, by the way? Okay, if you don't use BombBomb, go sign up for BombBomb. I make no money if you do that. I just absolutely love the guys over there. I think they're wonderful. I think they're magnificent. I think it's an incredible product. Everybody should be using BombBomb in my personal opinion. But what you want to do is you want to leave from the home, and then you want to stand outside the home and you want to fire up your video camera or your cell phone or whatever you've got and just say, hey, Mary Jo, it was so awesome to meet with you, to see your lovely home, to meet your family, your kids, your dogs, whatever it is. And I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to serve you. I look forward to working with you. If you have any questions, if you need anything, you let me know. Here's my cell phone number again. Here's my email address again. Here's my assistant's number. Whatever information you need to leave, I look forward to serving you as your realtor. Thank you for the opportunity. And if you signed them up, then it's always, hey, I'm so excited that you're now a client, and I can't wait to get your home sold as quickly as possible. This is going to be an exciting time, and I'm so excited for you. So you send that off immediately when you leave their house. You could also then put a handwritten note in their mailbox that just says, hey, thank you again. Then what you're going to do is you're going to follow up with any information you promised them as quickly as possible. And you're going to send them a next step outline. Let's say they just signed on the dotted line, and you're now their listing agent. You know what they're wondering? What next? Now what? What happens next? So what if you said, by the way, here's everything that happens next. Here's what you can expect from me. Here's what you can here's what we need from you. Here's the process. Here's the outline of exactly what's going to happen. Do you think that's going to alleviate some of the fear that they may be made the wrong decision, or did they make the right decision? Absolutely, because you're going to put them at ease before they ever raise the questions or have the concerns. Then you're going to have your assistant or transaction coordinator send them a video email introduction. So if you have an assistant, if you have a transaction coordinator, what you want them to do is you want them to be taking over a big part of that relationship, don't you? So one of the things you can do is have them send a video and go, hey, this is Travis on, Joe's team, and I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. I'm going to be the coordinator, the person coordinating this entire process. If you need anything, here's my information. I just wanted you to get to know me. I look forward to serving you. I'll be reaching out in the next couple days so we can get a time on the calendar to talk. Do you think that might make the handoff easier? Absolutely. See, what are you doing that is going to separate you from everybody else so that they close, that they want to choose you as their realtor? Even if you didn't get the listing appointment or the listing, even if you didn't get it and they still wanted to decide, could you do all this? Absolutely. Just assume that they're going to choose you. And that's one of the simple things you can do. All right? Now, for those of you that want to get better at listings, what we have is we have an entire process called the Listing Domination Framework, and this is the ultimate guide to listing domination. This is something we published for our clients a while ago. I want to give it to you. So on this, you're going to get top 12 ways to get a listing appointment, top 10 action items to send before the listing appointment, top 3 strategies during the listing appointment, top 5 steps to items to send after. There's a whole bunch of stuff on here. If you want to get better at listings, so you've closed them. Now what you want to do is you want to convert them into raving 5-star fans. The process is now they're a client, now you've closed on a transaction, you've helped them buy a home, you've helped them sell their home, whatever it is, the job's not done. It's not done just by getting the deal done. You've got to figure out, what am I going to do to convert them into raving 5-star fans? And why 5-star fans? Because that's what you want them to leave you on review sites is 5 stars. Had anybody ever had a 4-star review from somebody you thought was going to leave you a 5-star review? Doesn't that sting a little bit? And they're like, she was really good. There was this one thing, and you're like, how come you didn't tell me that? So you want to make sure that if somebody's going to go on a review site, if you're going to ask them to go on a review site, that they leave you a 5-star review. You've got to convert them into 5-star clients, into 5-star raving fans. So how do we do that? My favorite, client parties plus video testimonials. Now real quick, I was editing the slide this morning. It's really funny. It's actually, Almost. This almost got me in trouble. So I was editing the slide this morning, and I was really tired, and I was typing in testimonials, and I really misspelled it, and it auto-corrected to testicles. And I almost didn't catch it. And when it said client parties plus video testicles, I'm like, that might get me uninvited from any future Remax event ever. So I caught it. It's video testimonials, nothing else. I know some of you are like, oh man, I would have liked to see that one. All right, but no. All right, so client parties plus video testimonials. Now, what does this look like? Because most people, when I say client parties, this is what they think. But what if nobody shows up, right? I bought all this alcohol, I bought all this booze, I bought all this food, and now I'm going to have to just drown my sorrows in it because nobody loves me. I invited all my past clients and none of them showed up. That never, ever happens. In fact, how many of you do client parties? How many of you get video testimonials at the client parties? Okay, everybody goes, well, how do I get a client testimonial video? Do it at a client party when you're giving them alcohol and food. They're going to say amazing things about you, but here's the catch. Get them early. Otherwise, it's going to be like, Travis, amazing. Yeah. And that's not a good testimonial. So you want to make sure you catch them early. You want to get the client testimonial video at a client party because they're so happy. You will never have an issue of them not showing up. In fact, one of our clients who's here, which I'm going to show you this video in just a second, Dave Remedios. Dave, you're over there. Okay, so you and Marla. So Dave did his first client party, what was it, a month ago? And do you know what he said, but what if nobody shows up? He said the exact same thing. He's like, oh man, how do I make sure people show up? Well, it's all about how you promote. It's all about doing it right. So we showed Dave exactly how to promote, exactly how to do it. So he did his very first client party a month ago, and we got the video, and I was like, hey, can I put this in the presentation? Because it wasn't fully finished. And he said, yeah, absolutely, put it in the presentation. So I want to show you this in just a second. But here's the great thing. They did a small venue because they wanted to invite a bunch of people, but they didn't know how many would show up, so they figured a small venue, at least if a handful showed up, it would feel full, right? So that's what they did. They had a friend who owns a restaurant, so they kind of rented it out, and they did a food and wine and cheese pairing, I think is what you did. Yeah, so they did this whole thing, and they invited people. Well, it was a rainy day. And so people packed this thing out. They were like, this is awesome, wine and food and cheese on a rainy day. Let's do this. And so they had a videographer there, ready to take client testimonials, and this is what came out of it. I want you to watch this.
My name's Dave Remedios with Remax Gold Coast Realtors. I've been selling real estate here locally for 27 years. I've been with Remax for 15 years. So tonight, we're having our first client appreciation party. It's a big thank you to all my clients for their trust and loyalty.
When I decided to sell my house, I knew exactly who I needed to go to, and that was David Remedios, no question about it.
It's a big investment, and you want someone you trust by your side, and we chose Dave because he's always been there for our family.
Dave was fantastic to work with. He knew that we were trying to start a family, he knew that we wanted to have the perfect house to do that, and he was tireless in finding that place for us.
David helped me get a great investment property because I was able to pay every mortgage payment with the rent, and I was also going to be cash flowing.
He is an expert at finding these investment properties for us, and he knows how to keep us moving on to the next project.
There is nobody more honest than David, and there's nobody who communicates better. And David was either emailing me or calling me every step of the way. Never once did I have to reach out to him. He was proactive through the whole process.
He is so patient and helps them truly understand the process.
We're going to take the time and the energy to find that perfect house for you and your family.
Yeah. Pretty awesome, right? Now, what if you were sending that out pre-listing appointment or before every buyer appointment you go on? Do you think that might give you an unfair competitive advantage over everybody else in the market? Absolutely. That's why that's so important. That's why client parties are great. You don't need a lot of people to show up. You just need people to show up with a videographer there so that they're ready to capture those people talking about how great you are. And then you take that and now you use that in your marketing. You put that on your